Welcome, everyone, to episode 69 of the Thundercrafts podcast, where we forge through the shitstorm that was WCW Thunder. I am your host, a Darwinian man, well-behaved, is like a Sasquatch, well-shaved, Josh Kaiser. And joining me today, a chubby guy who looks like a penguin, Kyle Hoagland.
Not incorrect. What's going on, everybody? Well, almost 70.
Almost 70. It is the sex number here today. It is July 1st, 1999. We are here in pre-taped Lafayette. And I gotta admit, we watched this one live together. Not live, I guess, but in person together.
Literally 5 minutes ago, we came over here after we finished and hit record.
Was expecting dog shit from a pre-taped episode.
Sure.
And gotta admit, it was much like that number. A nice episode.
It was very satisfying for both partners.
Yeah. Let's just get right into it, Kyle. We, of course, being pre-taped, we open up with Tenay trying to sell us on Tonight's show. We find out that a couple titles are on the line, which is always exciting for pre-taped Thunder. We got Rey Mysterio Jr. defending the Cruiserweight title. And Rick Steiner will be defending the television title against Buff Bagwell. So we got a lot of action to look forward to there.
Buff Bagwell has been he has been the Stevie Ray of main events here in 1999.
Yes, he has. Of course, we are going to open up, though, with a replay from Nitro, because what else we do under pre-taped Thunder? Nash is defending his title, but he ends up kidnapping, if you will, Gorgeous George over his shoulder. Torrie Wilson is with him. I kind of forgot Torrie Wilson was even around at this point. They're walking out. They go to the backstage, and he's pretty much carrying her out of the arena. He's tossing her into the limo with Torrie Wilson, and then we cut to a Hummer, and Sting is in that Hummer. So yet again, Sting, you're doing yourself no favors.
No, you're not. I mean, look, Sting, if you're trying to deny all these things, first of all, don't drive a Hummer.
Right.
Second of all, don't look menacing while driving a Hummer.
Right. Not doing himself any credibility here. We then abruptly cut into DDP, who's in the ring. It was kind of a weird transition here.
Right.
He's cutting a promo, and we find out he's actually in a match against Saturn. So opening bout on a pre-taped Thunder, DDP and Saturn. Gotta admit, that was a pleasant surprise.
I mean, we've seen worse main events on Thunder.
Right. We do go to commercial break, as you would expect in most of these pre-taped Thunder matches, and I had to laugh. DDP's asking for Canyon's water, and Saturn is kind of draped over that middle rope. And we come back from commercial break, and DDP is handing the water back to Canyon, and he's still over that middle rope. So, hell of a water break.
That's it. We're assuming that for 40 seconds to a minute, DDP was just guzzling down this 20-ounce bottle of water.
That's what we are meant to suspect. During a diamond cutter attempt, the referee is knocked out. Canyon's going to get into the ring. He's going to put one of the tag belts into the corner post. He's going to go. Saturn's going to go for a 10-count punch on Canyon. He's going to get that reversed. His face is going to smash into the belt. This is going to lead to DDP getting on there. You think you're going to get the 3 count, but the referee is still knocked out, so it takes him a minute to get revived. You get the 2 count. Canyon is going to then distract the referee. Benoit's going to come in for the diving headbutt. That's actually going to be how the match ends. We're going to get Saturn actually winning clean, if you want to call it clean.
Well, he won. He didn't win clean.
Because Canyon
pulled the ref.
Yes, right. But he would have had the 3 count.
He would have had the 3 count.
I gave this match 2 3/4 star. I thought it was a good back and forth match. I thought the interference was appropriate, and I was okay with how it all kind of ended, if you will.
I'm still on the fence that I think I rather would have had the challenger lose. Or no, I like it better when it doesn't mean anything. I like it when the face gets a 1-up. And I know that this was maybe getting a 1-up because it was a DQ finish.
Right.
I actually would have liked it if Saturn had gone over, because there's already a little bit of like a storyline where Saturn has beaten DDP on a couple of occasions.
And I think the crowd even kind of thought Saturn got over at that point.
I guess so. Like I said, I gave it 2.5. The match overall was actually really entertaining. There was a lot of fighting going on the outside. Canyon got into it a lot, so there was a lot going on.
Right.
So there was a lot of bedlam and chaos going on.
They gave it a lot of time.
They did. They absolutely did. I still would have liked it better if Canyon kind of fucked up and caused the loss because of the distraction after the headbutt.
Yeah.
That would have put this up closer to the 2 3/4. So the ending I wasn't 100% a fan of. I get it. I'm okay with it. But I had aspirations for a better finish.
Fair enough. After the match, Bam Bam Bigelow is going to get in here. The Triad are going to get their heat back as they're going to beat down on Saturn and Benoit. We're going to move into our next match at this point. Disorderly Conduct, your and my favorite tag team of
Also,
the Pre-Taped Thunders.
One half of the Texas Hangmen.
In action against the No Limit Soldiers. Of course, Swole and B.A. Brad Armstrong.
So for a while, I knew that there was a guy named B.A.
Right.
I wasn't sure who it was. I just thought it was another No Limit Soldier,
right.
that another guy like Swole. And I'm not going to try to sound racist, but another black guy. and then when I saw B.A., well, it's not that we saw B.A. We saw the graphic that said Brad Armstrong.
Brad Armstrong.
And he just... It's not No Limit Soldier material whatsoever. But this whole match is just going to consist of Tenay saying BA over and over and over, and me losing it every time.
A lot of BA from Tenay. Ultimately, you're going to get Disorderly Conduct using their experience as a tag team to distract Swole, allowing the double teams a lot. But ultimately, Swole's going to get the last laugh as he's going to throat punch his way to a victory, followed by an Undertaker 3 count.
God, the only thing I felt bad about this match is that this is the only way that Brad Armstrong can win matches. Is another kind of a sort of like nepotism where this is Swole, which is Master P's cousin and bodyguard, and Brad Armstrong would not win matches if it wasn't for the fact that there's some other guy that they're putting over.
Right.
So good on Brad Armstrong that he was in the ring celebrating a victory. This will be few and far between. So I guess. Good on him. He's in an angle where he gets to win. So good for him.
Yes, I did give the match 2 stars, as did you.
Yes, I mean it was a basic tag match. I had no real qualms with the match,
other than the throat punch.
I mean, yeah, the ending was absolute shit. But I think Disorderly Conduct is a very underrated tag team. I mean, they're a little bit stuck out of time. They feel like they would have been much more like of an early 90s.
Late 80s, early 90s.
But. Take that away from themselves. They do work together well. I mean, they have good chemistry with themselves. They have a lot of nice double team moves.
They're a good enhancement tag team for
BA and Swole.
Right. After this, we get La Parka wrestling Eddie Guerrero as Eddie Guerrero continues his LWO Revenge Tour. This is where he's going to make the reference before the match about how La Parka has ditched the LWO shirt, as Larry Zbyszko put so eloquently, like a hot guy at a swimming pool.
Probably the most eloquent thing that Zbyszko's ever said.
In the middle of this match, we go to commercial, and we come back from commercial with a WCW Nitro promo that went on about 30 seconds. Then we got a Slim Jim promo, and then a WCW Thunder promo, and then finally back to the match.
Right, and we were hoping, just like the water incident, that there was no actual continuation of the match.
Yeah.
But it looked like there was a little bit.
Could have been close. La Parka is going to say LWO is no more to the camera, which Larry Zbyszko says, I have no idea what he just said. So, slightly racist, I feel like.
Or just Zbyszko doesn't pay... Either Zbyszko's racist and doesn't pay attention to the luchadors, or he just was... I guess maybe La Parka was talking over Zbyszko, and that is just cardinal rules 1, 2, 3, and 4 you just don't do when Zbyszko's talking.
What you also don't do is use a steel chair during the match, but in this one it was okay! What was that all about?
I don't know. So, hey, man, Silverman just didn't give a fuck, apparently. This is not a Mickey J match.
Yeah, I guess. I didn't get it. La Parka was also chewing Eddie Guerrero's rat tail, which I thought was an interesting tactic.
It's a bold move.
Yes, it was. Ultimately, though, quick frog splash from Eddie Guerrero.
Real fast. It's weird to have a top rope move be out of nowhere. This kind of was.
This pretty much was. I gave the match 2 1/4 stars. I thought it was a pretty good match, but it was fine. I think you enjoyed it more than I did.
Yeah, I gave it 2.5. I think the reason why I liked it is First of all, this is actually like a story that seems interesting to me that we're actually seeing a lot of it on Thunder, is Eddie Guerrero kind of marching through all the LWO members.
Is that really an interesting story to you?
Oh, I mean, it's all he's got, man. He's been gone for so long. It's all he can really grasp onto.
I feel like it's what is it setting up for? At the very end, is it setting up for him versus Chavo? Like, who is the final level of the LWO?
Was Chavo ever? I thought Chavo was never allowed in.
Right.
So is that how it's going? Where has Chavo been? Now the more I think about it. No, like I said, I was okay with the match. I think overall the work was done really well. Like I said, the ending was really abrupt, which usually for like a frog splash or like an Eddie Guerrero, you can usually tell when it's coming. He kind of sets up for it. Like I think LaParca just missed off the top rope on something, and Eddie I think just did a quick little takedown and just ran like as fast as I've ever seen anybody go to the top rope and hit a frog splash. So it was very surprising. I'm not surprised he won. I think I was just surprised of the transition between reversal into the frog splash we got.
After this, we get what was probably the segment of the night.
Segment so far of 1999 of Thunder.
We had to laugh because we were watching this, and if you watch it on the network, they've now kind of broken down the. Before it used to be little dots on the bar. You could see start of match, end of match. But now they've actually
like stills.
They've done stills, and it has a little beginning of
like a thumbnail almost. Yeah,
it's a thumbnail, and it'll say beginning of disorderly conduct tag team match, right? Or it'll say ending, or it'll say like
or in a Chris Benoit match, it'll say something like Hugh Morris in singles action.
But this one said Kevin Nash or Randy Savage and Kevin Nash talk on the phone, and we kind of laughed about it, like, oh man, can't wait to see that segment. Boy, I cannot wait to see this segment. So you get Savage is pacing around. He's being bleeped out a lot. He's just like, where the fuck is he? What I want to. Why isn't Nash answering? And then all of a sudden his phone rings and he answers it. He's like, Macho Man here, which is a great way to answer the phone, by the way. Because if my name is Macho, like I would answer the phone, Macho Man here, if I could, but I can't.
Maybe we should just do that from now on anyway. It's just Macho Man here.
So he's Kevin Nash is on the other line. They cut to Nash. He's getting a massage by, you assume, Gorgeous George is what you're led to believe. But, you could also think maybe it's Tori Wilson or just some other woman. But, he's in there moaning and groaning. And Savage is wondering what's going on. And, Nash is kind of hazing him a little bit. And, it says basically, I want my title back and I'll swap you Gorgeous George. It's kind of what the sentiment's going on here. And Nash opens up by saying, you ever see those movies? And Savage cuts him off and goes, I never watched no movies, you son of a bitch! Which is also a great line.
Everything that Macho Man has said, I mean, there's a point where he's trying to tell him, like, all right, I need you to meet here in 30 minutes. Like, 30 minutes, I know where I'm going!
It was literally priceless Macho Man quotes, one after another.
And then Nash just being just cool, calm, and collective on the phone. Like, all right, man, I just need you to go to this area here and meet me here in 30 minutes. And then Macho Man's like bitching about it, like, you know what, make it 15. Oh, 15!
Oh, 15, I still don't know where I'm going, brother! So, ultimately, that's what the segment is. Really, if you didn't watch Thunder 69...
We're not doing it justice
at least go watch this moment, because it is phenomenal. And it's not over. We get to see more of this Savage-Nash segments, and mostly Savage. Let's be honest. Nash was fine, but Savage is the hero.
Savage is over the top in all this.
After this, we get an I Hate Rap promo. Music video, I guess you could call it. They're doing their world tour. They're in front of a crowd of 20 or 25 WCW fans who were given free T-shirts.
I wish I was one of them, dude. I want that.
And they've got the Rapist Crap World Tour, which had like 10 locations on it. So
I would assume those are probably all like just Nitro locations.
Probably.
Let me ask you something real quick.
Yep.
Of the stupid ass T-shirts that we've seen, I think I'm missing one of them. Would you rather have the Iceman or would you rather have the Rapist Crap shirt?
Oh, I'd take the Rapist Crap shirt all day, every day.
Okay. All right. I'll see what I can find. I've been trying. Every time I see a stupid ass WCW like shirt, I'm hoping that there's like just somebody out there that either is like recirculating them for no reason whatsoever, or that there are still just some on eBay for some dumb reason. Because I feel like they probably didn't make a lot of the Rapist Crap ones. They probably made it for that particular event.
Yeah.
And which makes it seem like, as worthless as that probably is for most people, that is a limited edition commodity of some sort. Absolutely. That I wouldn't mind getting.
But those West Texas Cowboys or Rednecks or whatever they're calling themselves these days, they're in an 8-man tag match up against El Dandy, Damien, Villano 5, and Silver King. This was actually, as far as 8-man tag matches, pretty good.
And I think, like, for the most part, 8-man tags just have really no order to them, and it can just turn an almost like just...
They'll seem sometimes disorganized. They usually break down at times. It ends up getting lost. This really didn't. You had your moments of breakdown, but it was, for the most part, it kind of worked for the moment, and then they cleared things up. There was a lot of back and forth, a lot of...
Which I wasn't expecting at all.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was going to be a total squash. It wasn't, which I think I was fine with. It didn't seem... I don't think the West Texas Rednecks, who are, of course, going to win this match, come out looking any worse because the match went on longer than expected, or they didn't totally dominate it. I thought it was fair enough. There was actually a headbutt into when one of the cruiserweights kind of went over into the corner and went to do like a headstand and kind of flipped back over the opponent.
I think it was Damien who's trying to do like a handstand or something like that in the middle rope, and then Kurt Angle just headbutts him in the dick.
Headbutts him in the dick, which you don't see very often. Kind of like a unique way of reversing that move.
Right. Which also seems like an illegal way to do it, but I mean...
Well,
Sure.
The only gripe I have with this match, at the very end, Kendall Williams bulldogs Damien for the win. Neither of those two guys were the illegal men at that point.
I think when we were trying to figure that out when Kendall Windham did that, like, I believe it was...
It was Bobby Duncan Jr.
And Silver King? I think we said Silver King.
I think it was Silver King, yeah. But that was my only gripe. I gave it 2.25 star. I think if they had the right guys in there at the end, I probably 2.5 to 2 3/4 you could probably talk me into, but I left it 2.25.
I had to give it 2.5, and the only reason why is because, for the most part, an 8-man tag just has so much going against it starting off.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that they did as well as they could, and I think I had to give them the kudos that it was actually a mildly entertaining match with, I think, overall, besides, El Danny and Kurt Hennig, who easily were the superstars of both sides.
Of course.
It was one of those things where I just thought this was going to be just a complete destruction squash match. It turned out to be something that they did let the match breathe a little bit. There was structure to it. Obviously, the right people won, the West Texas Rednecks, whether it was in an illegal pin fashion or whatever. But I had to give it high because this is actually, as far as 8-man tags go, was about as fluid and structured and organized as I could think.
Yeah.
So for that, especially when you've got such differing, it would be one thing if it was like an 8-man tag with all luchadors, because then it's like the chaos almost creates more entertainment to it. Right. But you got 4 luchadors and 4 like just some of the stiffest guys you'll ever see. So really contrasting, styles, and they both were able to take advantage of it.
If it was a one-on-one of any of one side versus any of the other side, I feel like it's going to be a 2-star match at best,
and a crazy squash.
Yes,
also.
Right.
So the fact that the luchador side got to at least throw in some offense and kind of help each other out, it definitely let the match look better in that regard too. So I think 2.25, I guess from a quality standpoint, I agree with. I had to give that extra quarter because of the
logistics.
Yeah, the logistics of having all 8 of those guys deal with it. So I had to give them a little bit extra for that.
No, that's fair. After this, we move to the next segment of Savage. He's at those payphones. He must have made it in time. He's sitting there waiting for a phone call. The phone starts ringing. He picks up the first payphone. Macho Man here. No one answers.
Is there a reason why his own cell phone sounds exactly like payphone cell phones?
So he answers both payphones. Turns out it's actually his own cell phone that's ringing.
That he doesn't recognize.
Right. So he answers it. Nash is still fucking around with him, still getting that massage, telling him now he needs to go 2 blocks this way by the quick pick, turn right, go left down this way, giving him a lot of confusing directions. And it's Macho Man trying to remember those directions and go left, right, left, right, and then left, and then 2. And where's the quick pick? Just really, again, we're not doing it justice. Back-to-back segments here from Macho Man that are just...
Oscar-worthy.
Yeah, really enjoyable. After that, we move to the Cruiserweight title match on the line. Rey Mysterio defending it against Blitzkrieg. I gotta admit, I think we've said it before. I'm a huge Blitzkrieg mark, and I think you are as well. I think you enjoy a lot of his action. Rey Mysterio, of course, Hall of Famer, great talent. I looked at this match and I'm like, I got excited that these two are going to be in the ring against each other. Before the match gets started, though, the No Limit Soldiers came out with Rey, and B.A. gets on the microphone.
That's Brad Armstrong, by the way, just in case anyone forgot.
And he says, "Oh, you didn't know? we're the No Limit Soldiers, and then did a dance.
And for also those who don't know, Brad Armstrong, obviously part of the Armstrong family, as is the road dog Jesse James. So a little bit of I won't say a dig. I don't know if it's more of a dig or more of a, hey, what's up, brother?
Right.
Type of thing. But something of that nature. He was allowed to say it on TV.
He was. Blitzkrieg and Ray, though, as far as the match goes, it was good-ish. It was okay. I think it's probably a better way of saying it.
I think we got too excited for it.
I was hoping for a lot more than what I got. It wasn't as high-flying and exciting as I expected. I think they slowed it down a little bit. They almost gave it too much time, I think, for what they should have gotten. Ultimately, of course, Rey Mysterio is going to defend. He's going to do a Rough Rider into his, then go to the top rope and do his Frankensteiner off the top for the 3. I give the match 2.25 star. I was all ready to give this match 3 to 3.5 stars just before it started, and it wasn't anywhere near there.
Right, and maybe it's not so much their fault. I mean, it's their fault. They're in the ring, right. But I think I also gave us 2.25. And my big thing was this has felt like the classic. I'll do a spot, you do a spot, you do a spot, I'll do a spot, and which is fine and all that, but it doesn't really tell a really good story of anybody being in peril. It didn't seem like anybody at one point was taking advantage of the other. It just seemed like just taking turns, kind of just doing offense. And it wasn't even like it wasn't exciting offense you expect from these two. Sure, I know it felt like it slowed down a little bit. We had this one talk when we were watching the show that I felt like when you watch Ray, and this could be injuries, his knee, whatever the case may be, we all know that he has a history of knee problems. But the thing I always looked at was when Ray has the mask on, I feel like there's just like a little bit more fire, a little bit more speed, a little bit more everything that he kind of shows. But then when he's not, it's almost like he's being told, okay, well, you lost the mask, now you need to sell your facial expressions and kind of like be like Conan, who is very much a more bombastic, outspoken, he'll do a move and then he gets a pop from the crowd. Whereas when you're wearing a mask, you don't need to do that like that because you can't do that.
Right.
So you're more along the lines of you just got to go in there and be this acrobatic phenom that you are. He doesn't need to do that because he was literally told by creative in the back, hey, you lost your mask. Now that's not as important. You've already been established. The match itself felt a little bit more methodical and more grounding than most of the matches I think we usually might be seeing, especially a Blitzkrieg match where he likes to do flips for absolutely no fucking reason whatsoever. Right. The finisher felt it was the right finisher, but a lot of those types of, especially when the title's on the line, it just feels like you don't know. Maybe he's going to get it. I didn't think at any point Blitzkrieg was going to win this title, especially with all the No Limit Soldiers there. It just wouldn't have made sense for it. Also, I'm just in the opinion that Ray has completely outgrown that belt. He doesn't need it. He doesn't need it to validate himself. He needs to do bigger and better things, and somebody else needs to have the title.
Yeah, I agree with you there. He should move on to something else, and that belt should go more to the quote unquote cruiserweights,
where they know that's where all they're going to be.
Right. After this, we get to the next part of the Savage and Nash.
Whoa, dude.
Yeah. Whoops.
Spoilers.
Jumping the gun here. The Savage and Nash promo. We see 2 Hummers parked out. The limo pulls up.
Where's everyone affording Hummers? Like we've never once had discussions about Hummers, and now there is at least 1, maybe 2 or 3 Hummers on every show now.
Right. Nash is going to get out of the limo. Savage has been waiting for him. Sid is in the background there.
Kudos to Savage for getting the instructions right.
He did find it, and it turns out it's exactly where those payphones were the whole time.
Let's not worry about the fact that this was easily on some sort of like movie
It also
set.
looked like it was totally a movie set. But Nash is going to show up. He's going to get out of the car. Naturally, it all kind of breaks down. Sid's going to go to attack. He's going to give Nash the belt, and by that he's going to try to hit him with the belt. Nash is going to duck, put him on the hood of the limo. Savage is going to attack him, and then Sting comes in and cracks Nash with the bat and leaves. Or was it Sting? We don't know. That's the big mystery there.
Well, they've never done an angle where they've had a fake Sting, so
right.
Well, it has to be Sting.
It has to be Sting, right? Exactly.
The funny thing is that could have just might as well been Sting. That could actually really be Sting playing Sting, but they could still play it off that's a fake Sting,
right?
Yeah.
But then that gave Sid and Savage the time they needed. They can now get Gorgeous George out of the limo. So he's going to go to the limo. She's not in there. Then they find out she's actually in the trunk. So they go to the trunk. There's a blonde woman who's conveniently wearing a hood. So they carry her into the Hummers, and the segment ends. So
why didn't Savage just take the title back? He could have easily just picked
the title there.
You let the title next to Nash.
Okay.
So,
well,
I mean,
he
he's
did
a man
the
of his
trade.
word.
Yeah, right.
Man of his word.
It wasn't his fault Sting showed up.
That's true.
Interrupting things. He had Sid. Sid tripped, bringing the belt to Nash.
But didn't Sting get into one of the... He got into one of the Hummers.
Did he get into
one of the Hummers? Yeah, he got into one of the Hummers.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
I think he got into the one with Savage.
I didn't notice that, but okay. We then move to our main event. Television title on the line as Rick Steiner's going to be defending against Buff Bagwell.
You know what? Before we even continue that, they did say right after that they were going to keep the cameras running and see what would happen afterwards. And we never go back.
Yeah, we do. Right at the end.
Oh yeah, right. No, you're right.
Yeah.
But we don't go back to Nash.
No, we don't go back.
Which
to
I thought that's what they said. They were keeping the cameras back on. What happened with Nash, but we never find out what happened with Nash. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, no, that's all right. We go into the main event here. Title on the line.
I didn't know this was the main. I don't know why. And maybe you were more in tune with the time. But as soon as this match went and came and gone, and then we had that last little bit and the show was over, I was like, wait, I thought there was some more show left.
Well, they had the pyros before this match, so that's why I knew it was going to be the main event.
I just figured because it was Rick Steiner and his push, so he's going to get the pyro. He is the TV champion.
It's true. And in this match, of course, storyline here, Rick Steiner is going to continue to try and re-break Buff Bagwell's neck.
Which is every storyline of every heel that fights Buff Bagwell.
Right, so he's choking him out, he's pile driving him on the outside, he's strangling him, he's got a choker of some sort that he's using. Which the referees are totally cool with the whole time. Ultimately, though, Buff Bagwell's going to get to the top rope, and David Flair's going to run out with a stun gun. He's going to stun Buff Bagwell, which Buff sells perfectly.
After 2 seconds of being zapped.
That's going to lead to a Rick Steiner victory. I gave the match 2.25 stars. I thought it was an okay match. I wasn't crazy with how that ending just seemed kind of thrown in there.
I gave it 2, and here's the thing about this. It's like I said before, it's the same formula with a Buff Bagwell match with a heel wrestler that all they're doing is just working on that neck. And I get it from reality, if I was fighting somebody that just had, spinal fusion surgery or whatever they said he had,
right.
that he needed. Sure, you go for the neck, but I think in the world of make-believe fighting, when that is always what you do every time, it's kind of think of if Triple H, who's torn his quad, his quad twice now, right? It would be every match he ever had, someone just keeps punching him in the upper thigh over and over because he's had reconstructive surgery on his quad, on both quads. Or if you're fighting Kevin Nash and all you're doing is just beating the shit out of his knee, right, because he has a bad knee. That's what you want to do, but at the same time, it sucks to tell that same story every time you have a match with somebody, because you really can't mature a storyline or move forward with somebody else when it's just every time let's just go for the knee or let's just go for the injury every time. Especially if it's not something that is clearly he's not wearing any kind of brace, he's not wearing anything that shows that he's still nursing it.
Right.
So if you've got something like that, sure, go for it. You got a brace on the knee, you want to go for the knee, that's fine, because you're at least selling to the crowd that it's still a problem. But for people who maybe not even been watching Thunder or watching WCW from a year ago, you'd have to be reminded that Buff Bagwell had an injured neck. So it doesn't always work the way it does. As far as the ending is concerned, it's complete dog shit. I mean, first of all, did Flair come out in a hood or it looked like he was masked? It even looked like it was Flair.
David Flair?
Yeah, it looked like
he had a bandana, almost like a do-rag kind of bandana thing tied on it.
And why?
Maybe because he hadn't dyed his hair yet? I don't know.
You're probably right. He didn't
going blonde on the.
He went blonde on the Nitro before, this is taped. So right. Yeah, that's probably why they did that. Wow, that's actually the one time that they make a smart continuity decision, as with David Flair. But yeah,
that's 7-0 David Flair to you.
That's true. He hits the stun gun, and it's on Buff for a good second and a half before Buff sells anything.
Well, it's like when you get shocked by an outlet and you freeze first before you.
But he didn't. But he didn't. So yeah, 2 stars. Match was okay, but it was basically 90% Rick beating the living shit out of Bagwell's neck. Buff makes like a 30-second comeback, gets a stun gun, and it's a loss. It was not a very enthusiastic match. Very slow, very ground and pound, which is what Rick does. So I mean, the formula's there, but I'm also not a big fan of the Rick Steiner formula.
Not many people are. After this, we do go back to we see the Hummers driving down the road. They get out. Savage is going to get out of the one Hummer, run into the other Hummer to find his hooded girlfriend, Gorgeous George. Which why is her hood still fucking on? Like, all these people saved her. You couldn't have taken the hood off at this point. Also, why shouldn't she in the car that Savage is in? But anyways, he's asking her how she's doing. He pulls the hood off, and oh my god, it's Tori Wilson.
Not a bad consolation prize.
No, not at all. But of course, she says that Kevin Nash outsmarted him, and Savage is pissed, and that is how our Thunder is going to end. What did you think about Thunder 69?
I really enjoyed it, actually. There was a lot of, I'll say this, you and I had a lot of laughs.
We did.
With this show.
We did.
From BA to Macho Man deserving all the awards of acting that you could ever give him.
There's few segments in 69 episodes of Thunder that I would tell you to go back and rewatch. Every once in a while we see a match that's really good.
Sure.
Or just something that's just totally out there. It's like, go do it. The Savage promos here, they're not long, 2 or 3 minutes each, but they're thoroughly entertaining.
I agree. And another thing I liked about this, we had two title defenses, and we only had one disqualification, if I recall, and that was just the first match with Saturn and DDP.
Yeah, I think so.
I think everybody else. I mean, we had the No Limit Soldiers going over cleanly as you would with the throat punch.
Yeah.
We had Eddie Guerrero winning with the fastest frog splash I've ever seen.
Yeah.
We had the West Texas Rednecks winning illegally with a bulldog from the illegal man, but once again, still clean victory. And then Rick Steiner wins with a taser, but once again, still goes over.
Yep.
And that's the one thing I kept on complaining
Rey Mysterio
about.
won clean.
Yeah, and I oh, that's right, and Rey Mysterio won clean. So I always complain about that, where just because a DQ finish is something that like makes sense doesn't mean I want it all the time.
Right.
And or what could make just as much sense is something like David Flair coming in and screwing over Buff Bagwell for Rick to win.
Buff probably looks stronger in that loss, right? It took a stun gun to make him lose this match.
And it looked like he was in a position to go for the blockbuster, and instead, this is what happened. It's a perfect time for an interference, and once again, it doesn't make Buff look that bad, because he was getting his shit kicked in the entire time.
Right.
He was able to make a comeback. It looked like he was poised to win, and then David Flair comes out. I'm also not saying that Dave Flair was my favorite person to choose, or that the stun gun being the clue weapon of choice. Right. But I liked what the end result was. I didn't really like the assailant or the weapon as all that much. I think the stun gun is getting overused.
Can you believe that this stun gun has now made it? We are now in the 7th month of
99? Stun
guns since. Of course, the Goldberg stun gun. That's where it all started, right?
Yeah, and I was kind of hoping, to be honest, did you think after...
I thought it was going to be like Scott Hall's thing for like a period of time, and then that was it.
Yeah.
And now it's
just everybody gets to have
whoever
one.
wants to use it, it's a...
I was hoping that when they had that when Goldberg was on his little like revenge thing where, hey, I'm going to take on Scott Hall, and they had that stun gun match.
Yes.
I thought, all right, stun guns are done.
That's it, right.
That's it. Let's let that be the thing.
Yes.
And now it's just like a stun gun is just another kendo stick at this point. So I'm not a big fan of the overuse of the stun gun because the stun gun does feel like that's it. Like no matter since Goldberg lost to it, there's no way anybody else.
Yeah, you're not kicking out from a stun gun,
right? If Goldberg couldn't kick out of the stun gun, then no one's kicking out of a stun gun, which once again creates a hole in story development if you want to use a stun gun too much.
Right. No, I agree. But I would also agree that this was an enjoyable Thunder. And I don't say that very often on pre-taped Thunders, which is what surprises me the most. Thoroughly expected this to just be kind of a trash Thunder, especially because I felt like last week's Thunder felt like a pre-taped Thunder with the formula, and we both agreed Thunder 68 started out okay and then went to shit pretty quickly. When you have a shit live show, which for the most part that was at best okay, but more crap than anything, I really expected the pre-tape show to be even worse. And it was the better of the two shows, and I don't think it's close.
I think we gave 2 matches dud ratings. I think we only gave 1 match over a 2.5 or 2.5 or higher.
Right.
And then this one, I think 2.5 was almost the median score.
Yeah, I would say it's probably pretty standard for that. Like you said, titles are on the line, entertaining promos, just overall a good show.
Yeah, and once again, it wasn't just even with the ratings of the matches, which already tells you we actually enjoyed what was in the ring.
Right.
Out of the ring was also really good.
Yes.
Anywhere from just hearing the word BA over and over and over to just once again, guys, go see the Macho Man.
Yes,
has a phone call with Kevin Nash segment. It's so good, and it's 99% Macho Man. I mean, nothing wrong with Nash. Nash did what he was supposed to do. He's fine, but you couldn't do that without Macho Man.
Absolutely. That said, we couldn't do this show without you guys. So if you haven't yet subscribed, go do it. Leave us a review. Let us know how we are doing. Of course, you can follow us on social media, Twitter, Facebook, all that, at Thundercraps. And then you can always go to thundercraps.com for all of our episodes. And then go check out Thunder 70. It is the go-home show for Bash at the Beach 1999.
What's the date, Josh? Come on, can you get
July 8th, 1999. Right? It should be a live go-home show. We're going to probably see what happens with Nash and Savage.
And maybe Sting, too.
Yeah, maybe we'll find out who's actually driving the Hummer.
We're never finding out.
We're going to find an over-under on 3 Hummers next week. Who knows what else. It's going to be an exciting packed show. So, Thunder 70. For Kyle Hogan, I'm Josh Kaiser, and we will see you next time on the Thundercraps podcast.
We are taseringly out of time. See ya.